Hey guys, it's Steven here, and today I'm back with another movie review, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Mummy. So, The Mummy is directed by Alex Kurtzman, and it's the first installment in the Dark Universe, which is Universal Studios' new rebooted franchise of all their classic monster films. And in this movie, a soldier/thief named Nick, played by Tom Cruise, and his partner Chris, played by Jake Johnson, discover this giant hole in the desert somewhere in Europe, and a whole bunch of military people and someone named Jenny, played by Annabelle Wallis, come over to check this place out. And when they get there, they find this ancient tomb that has this sarcophagus that has something to do with this legend that dates back to Egyptian times. And when they bring this sarcophagus back up to the surface, the Princess Amunet, the Egyptian Princess Amunet, played by Sofia Boutella, basically, who's mummified, comes back from the dead to wreak havoc upon, humanity, and wants to create an army of mummies and whatnot. And now, Tom Cruise has to stop her. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's first start off with the acting. Now, I've always been a fan of Tom Cruise. I love the guy. I think he's both a great action star with films like, the Mission Impossible movies, as well as, Jack Reacher, Edge of Tomorrow, Minority Report, Collateral. And, here, I thought he was okay. It's like, I found, his character was just really kind of one note throughout the whole movie. I mean, he has some funny lines, all the great, there's some great, Tom Cruise isms to his character. And, but overall, I just found his character not really that exciting or interesting, and it felt like Tom Cruise was basically just in this movie for the paycheck, in all honesty. And, as far as some other characters, there are some good performances in this movie. I thought Russell Crowe, who plays Dr. Jekyll, I thought he was really good. And Sofia Boutella as the Mummy, I thought was awesome. I thought, her character was very, very creepy, seductive, and I thought Sofia Boutella pulled it off really well. I think she's a really good female action star with, movies like Kingsman and Star Trek Beyond, and I think she continues to impress me with this. And as far as the other supporting characters, I could care less about them. Annabelle Wallis and Jake Johnson in this movie, I thought their characters were entirely pointless. They could have just been chopped out and it wouldn't have made a difference. They didn't really do anything for the story. They didn't impact the story in any way. Annabelle Wallis in this movie is basically just a damsel in distress throughout the whole thing, and her character isn't that exciting or interesting in the least. And Jake Johnson was just there as comic relief, but nothing he said I found funny or anything, and I didn't really care about his character. And I just feel like him, as I said, him and Annabelle Wallis could have just been easily cut out, and it wouldn't have made a difference. So, as far as the acting, it's eh. So, guys, next let's move on to the directing. Now, Alex Kurtzman is primarily known as a writer for movies like the first Transformers. He wrote the Star Trek films, the new Star Trek films, and I'd say his direction is okay in this film. I think the problem is with, I don't know if it's Alex Kurtzman's directing that's the problem. It's just that he's working with so many different stories that it's hard for him to tell all these stories in a straightforward, cohesive way, But I mean, he's good when it comes to directing really thrilling action sequences, there's an underwater sequence, which was in the trailer, which I really thought was kind of intense and engaging, and I enjoyed that part. I also enjoyed the airplane scene, which was also in the trailer. He's good at directing these types of, big, epic, or not really epic, but these really, cool, intense scenes, and I think that's one of the best things about his direction in this film. But I just think, as far as, structuring, a cohesive story, his direction falls flat. So, next let's move on to the script and the story, and I think that the script and story is honestly where this movie really falls apart. I feel like there's so many side plots, there's so many different, like, characters and whatnot, and I feel like it just... the movie turns into, like, a kind of an incoherent mess. Because it's like, it felt like it was trying to be more of a setup for future Dark Universe films than a standalone Mummy movie. Like, we don't get much character depth. There's, like, while all the stuff with Dr. Jekyll, Russell Crowe's character, was cool, I feel like that should have been, like, its own movie. It's like, they're cramming in so much stuff into the script that just feels, like, all bloated and all over the place. And, I mean, there were, like, 3 writers, I believe, 4 or 5, maybe. I don't know, there was a lot of writers involved with this movie, and I feel like considering there were so many writers, it was hard to tell a cohesive story and develop all these characters in an under 2-hour runtime. And that's another reason why. It's like, considering it's such a short runtime, you can't, like, put so much development into the story. And I didn't like that about this film, and I think it's definitely by far the weakest part of The Mummy. Next, let's move on to the technical qualities. Now, while the script and story isn't really that great at all, the movie does have some good things, like the technical aspects. I think it's well shot, like all the scenes in the desert were really cool, very nice to look at, and there's also some really good production design. Like the tomb and the lab with Dr. Jekyll. Well, that looked really cool. And the makeup on Sofia Boutella, I thought all that was really good. It's just, like, the movie itself wasn't that great, you know? But as far as technical qualities, they're really good. So, I'd say overall, the movie's not completely terrible. There are some thrilling sequences. The technical aspects are good. Sofia Boutella and especially Russell Crowe, I thought, were definitely the standouts. But I think the script and the story really does fall flat, and I think that there's definitely a lot that could have been, like, improved, and there's a lot that could have been cut out. And I feel like this is honestly one of Tom Cruise's weaker movies, unfortunately. So, guys, I am going to give The Mummy a grade of a C-. I wouldn't really recommend rushing out to see this movie. I'd say wait till Netflix or Redbox. So, guys, let me know down in the comment section below, what is your favorite Tom Cruise movie of all time? My favorite would probably be Risky Business. I love that movie. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.